It goes back to history to the mid-10th century. That's when they built, as always. First of all, it started with the construction of a church or a castle on top of the hill, and then sometimes they started building houses around it, and this town started to grow. I said it's very well preserved, apart from the city walls. There's not too much left of the original city walls. But this was a town that was just like any medieval town or city, completely surrounded by walls, yet still close to water. These towns nowadays, many houses are empty during a big part of the year because they're just second residencies or holiday homes. Oh. So they belong to people from other parts of Catalonia or from Barcelona city, and they come here to spend a weekend or summer holidays or whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. If you want to, let's say, if you want to buy the apartment here, it is less expensive than in Barcelona.
Yes, absolutely. Barcelona is one of the most expensive cities in the country. Nowadays, it was a big deal when a town was able to create a square like this and to organize a weekly market, because it was only the most important and prominent towns in each area. Hasta luego. So this weekly market would attract people from all over the area. It would improve the economy, and the population started growing. It was literally the beating heart, because you can see we're actually in the heart of the town, and all these little streets are connected to this square. And a square like this one would usually also be the political heart of the city. So that's why in most cases you can find a town hall, and in this case also we have the town hall of Besalú here. And they always look the same. So there's many cities and many towns in Catalonia that have a similar square. They just vary in size, but it's always those portico squares with open spaces underneath the houses, so that people could look for shelter in case of bad weather, or otherwise they would keep their animals there, their horses. A bakery, some croissants, some typical local pastries. You can check it out. They specialize in cocas. Coca is basically a flat bread, usually sweet, but not always. It's the traditional coca is covered with sugar and anise, but they make different kinds of coca. Sometimes it has chocolate or custard or whatsoever.
Hola, buen día.
Buenos días.
And sometimes they make it savory as well, and then they just cover it with some cheese or some vegetables or whatever, and they turn it into kind of like a Catalonian pizza, something like that. Need some explanation. So this piece of wood with the smiley face, this is a piece of Catalonian culture that we call cagatio. Cagatio. This started in the Middle Ages already, and there was again in the countryside, the farmers, the families of peasants and farmers, they didn't have so much money, and they just looked for a piece of wood and they just paint a happy face on it, and then they would put it inside a home, nice and warm, and they would offer food and just like kind of nurture it for a few weeks, till the night of Christmas Eve and then the winter solstice. They would burn the wood and then take the ashes and spread it over the land, and they believed that this would give them a good harvest in the upcoming season. So it's a very prosperous sign and good luck. Nowadays we still have this log, and almost every single Catalonian family will have a cagatio at home next to the Christmas tree. And what we do now is it's mainly for kids, but on Christmas Eve they have to sing a certain song while they hit the cagatio with sticks. The back is always covered with a blanket, because then what the adults, they prepare already previously, they prepare underneath the blanket some candy and some presents. And then if they do it right and they sing the whole song, they tell the kids, "Good, you did it right." He starts pooping. He pooped candy. Okay. That's what he does. So he poops candy and presents. This was and is still nowadays the main church, named after the local patron saint, Saint Peter, in Catalonian Sant Pere. And it's a good example of a typical Romanesque style church or architecture. So from the 10th, 11th century. And that's you can recognize it by a very humble style, simple, not much decoration, but very thick stone walls, small windows, and these semicircular arches. So those are ways how to recognize a Romanesque style. So that was before the Gothic style. Here we do have some statues in this case, which was not meant to be decoration, but usually when they incorporated something like this on a facade, it was to educate the simple people, the Christians that often, usually couldn't read or write. It was only the Jews that could read or write. And this was a way to send out messages and to educate the people and to, for example, tell them, behave yourselves and don't be a sinner, okay? Or you go to hell. These two animals, they represent lions. So there was a very typical example of Romanesque style iconography. And they were usually protectors. So they resembled the light and hope and protection. On the left side, underneath that lion, there's a monkey. You see the monkey in a funny position. And on the other side, under the paw of the lion, there's a man who is covering his private parts, and his head is being crushed by the paw of the lion. Well, on the left side, the monkey represents the struggle against bad behavior. And on the other side, the man represents the struggle against all temptations or sins. So they were basically telling the people not to be sinners. And also other things were done. Later on Gothic-style churches, they would incorporate gargoyles, for example, that always had shapes, usually of scary creatures or demons. And then they would tell people, don't talk bad about church because you'll be turned into a gargoyle. And you're going to live like a gargoyle eternally. And people didn't want that. So they were very simple, very superstitious. So they would believe those stories. And it was actually quite effective.
Great.
Yeah. This church is... Let's see. Yeah, it is. You can look inside, and there will be a little box in probably every church that we find today. You can insert a coin, and then it turns on the light inside.
Oh,
but you have to pay for it. So €1 for 2 minutes of light. Okay, it's light is holy, and expensive. You can see more or less.
Yeah, you can see everything.
Yeah. It's simple, but very clean, very well maintained.
It's nice.
Pues es que yo casi prefiero
Negro y sin verde.
It's a nutcracker. Cutting boards. All the zippers are inside, so you have to take it off to open it. Interesting. It's fun. Hola. With clean, clean water.
Stone village is literally built into the rock. So the part of the roads is just solid rock, you see. Inside? with some paintings on it to show you what kind of profession was practiced there since the Middle Ages and for many centuries. And this was the house where they work with textile, for example. And this is still kind of like a workshop, and they make everything by hand. They have a very antique kind of sewing machine. Hey, little one. Just going for a walk, huh? Yeah, this is actually a hotel and a Michelin star restaurant.
Wow, Michelin starred.
But first we encounter the church on the left side. This is a Baroque style chapel from the 17th century, dedicated to St. Michael. Again, probably going to be closed. We need to look through the glass window, the glass wall. There's a little box where you can introduce it.
Quim, digue'm què fa, ja està.
It's the challenges that make us. Accept the challenges. Can we see inside the church? Oh, it's blocked on this side. It's actually just built on the edge. Amazing.
Yeah, I found this trail. I came to hike here years ago with my parents. And it was a nice thing to know once I started to do this tour. This is really the best way. At the same time, it's kind of a shortcut, so that is just around the corner. And you could keep on following the main road, but then you don't get this. Picking up the cow pies.
Oh, for me? Nope. Can I see the stick? Can I see the stick? Can I see it? Give it to me.